Summer Spellman is about to drop an absolute bombshell on Coronation Street this week, and let me tell you, it is one that will leave Todd Grimshaw completely and utterly shaken to his core. If you thought the drama on the cobbles had peaked, you are not ready for the emotional rollercoaster coming our way. Todd is walking into a situation he never could have prepared for, and the secret Summer is hiding changes absolutely everything we know about the tragic passing of Theo Silverton. Before we dive deep into the twists, the betrayals, and this heartbreaking hospital room confession, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Coronation Street Update so you never miss out on the juiciest street gossip and exclusive breakdowns. Your support means everything, and trust me, you will want to stick around for this whole video because the theories we have about the real culprit are absolutely mind-blowing. The situation with Summer has reached a breaking point, and the sheer desperation she is feeling right now is something that is going to resonate with so many viewers. Last month, Todd's adopted daughter was hit with the most severe accusations imaginable. She was officially held responsible for the untimely death of Theo Silverton. We all watched in absolute disbelief as she was taken away, entirely stripped of her freedom and locked behind steel doors. But things went from bad to an absolute nightmare when she was denied a temporary release. Why? Because George Shuttleworth, in a twist that left us all gasping, discovered that she had not been entirely truthful about her whereabouts on the night Theo met his tragic end. Summer was caught in a web of her own panic, and her alibi completely crumbled into dust. But here is where the story gets so incredibly frustrating, and where the betrayal cuts the deepest. Summer is not the only one who has been bending the truth. Tyrone Dobbs, a man who is supposed to be a pillar of the community, has been spinning his own web of lies. Tyrone has been frantically trying to cover his own separate tracks, hiding something major from everyone on the street. Because he was so terrified of his own secrets coming to light, he absolutely refused to corroborate Summer's version of events when the authorities brought him in for questioning. Tyrone sat in that interview room, looked the officials in the eye, and chose his own self-preservation over the freedom of a young woman who was staring down the barrel of a life-altering sentence. His silence was the final nail in the coffin, the ultimate betrayal that led directly to Summer being formally charged with the crime. It is a damn shame to see Tyrone act this way, and the butterfly effect of his selfishness has completely ruined Summer's life. As if the situation wasn't tense enough, Monday's episode threw a massive wrench into the entire investigation. DS Lisa Connor Swain, who has been absolutely relentless in this case, pulled Todd aside and dropped a revelation that changes the entire trajectory of this storyline. She confirmed that there is another suspect in the investigation. The authorities have officially brought in Theo's ex-wife, Danielle, for intense questioning at the station. This changes everything. We all know that in the world of Coronation Street, an ex-spouse suddenly entering the frame is never just a coincidence. Danielle clearly has a motive, she has the history with Theo, and her sudden appearance on the radar proves that the authorities are finally starting to realise that Summer's involvement doesn't perfectly add up. But while this news should be a beacon of hope for Todd, the reality of Summer's current condition is rapidly deteriorating before he can even use this new information to save her. When Todd visits Summer in the holding facility, the sheer emotional weight of the scene is enough to break your heart. Todd has always been fiercely protective of Summer, and seeing her stripped of her spirit, wearing those standard-issue clothes, and completely losing her will to fight, is devastating. During this visit, Todd learns something that completely shatters his world. Summer, feeling like she has absolutely no other options left, confesses that she is actually considering taking the fall. She tells him that she is thinking about accepting the blame for the unintentional unaliving of Theo, hoping that if she just surrenders, they will give her a lesser sentence. She is terrified, she is exhausted, and the psychological toll of being locked up has completely broken her down. She would rather accept the punishment for a tragic event she didn't cause than continue fighting a system that seems entirely rigged against her. But the real gut punch comes in the newly released footage for Sunday's episode. Prepare yourselves, because this is going to be one of the most intense scenes of the year. Summer has been rushed out of the holding facility and is currently in a hospital bed. When Todd dashes to her bedside, his heart drops into his stomach. Summer is not just in a hospital gown, she is literally chained to the bed. It is a stark, chilling visual that reminds us that, in the eyes of the law, she is considered a massive flight risk and a danger. Todd is absolutely furious. He cannot believe how she is being treated, completely lacking any dignity or compassion. The officer guarding the room steps back, urging Summer to finally come clean and tell Todd the real reason she is lying in that hospital bed. This is the moment the bombshell drops. Summer looks at Todd, her eyes filled with tears, and admits the unthinkable. She did not fall ill naturally. She reveals that she deliberately bypassed her life-saving medical device. She intentionally switched off her insulin pump, forcing her own body into a severe medical emergency. She risked her own life, pushing herself to the absolute brink, just so she could get out of that cell for a few hours. Let that sink in. Summer was in such a dark, desperate place, feeling so incredibly trapped and suffocated by those concrete walls, that she chose to trigger a massive health crisis just to breathe different air. It is a terrifying insight into her mental state. When Todd frantically questions her, demanding to know what she was thinking, Summer breaks down. She admits that she is simply failing to cope behind bars. The isolation, the fear of the other people in the facility, the constant looming threat of spending her best years locked away for a crime she didn't commit, it has all pushed her to the edge of her sanity. Todd's reaction is everything you would expect from a desperate parent. He is horrified, he is heartbroken, but most of all, he is terrified that he is losing her. He grips her hand, urging her with everything he has to stay strong. He begs her not to give up, pleading with her to hold on just a little bit longer. But Summer is a shell of the girl she used to be. She looks at him with this empty, defeated expression and whispers that she honestly doesn't think she can even make it to court. She is terrified that the pressure will completely break her before she ever gets the chance to clear her name. Todd refuses to accept this. He points out, with a harsh but necessary reality check, that taking the blame is not an option. He reminds her that she has so few alternatives, and throwing her life away for a lesser sentence will not bring her peace. He begs her to continue her fight for freedom, promising her that he will do absolutely everything in his power, cross any line and break any rule necessary to find out what really happened to Theo Silverton. This brings us to the massive questions that are absolutely tearing the Corrie fandom apart right now. What is Danielle's real role in all of this? If Theo's ex-wife is indeed the one responsible for his permanent sleep, how did she manage to frame Summer so perfectly? Or was Summer just tragically in the wrong place at the wrong time, caught in the crossfire of a bitter, toxic feud between Theo and Danielle? There is a very strong theory circulating among the community that Danielle knew exactly what she was doing. Ex-wives in these types of dramas rarely leave things to chance. If Danielle wanted Theo out of the picture, and she knew Summer had a shaky alibi and a tendency to panic under pressure, Summer makes the absolute perfect scapegoat. Danielle could have easily planted evidence or manipulated the timeline to make sure the authorities looked entirely in Summer's direction. And then we have to circle back to Tyrone. What in the world is he hiding? His refusal to speak up for Summer is not just cowardice, it is calculated. Tyrone is protecting a secret that he clearly believes is worse than letting an innocent girl go down for the ultimate crime. Could Tyrone's secret be completely unrelated to Theo's demise, Just a terrible coincidence of bad timing? Or is it possible that Tyrone saw something that night? Did he see Danielle? Did he see the real culprit? But revealing that information would also expose whatever shady business he was up to. Tyrone is playing a very dangerous game of chess, and right now, Summer is the pawn paying the price. The longer Tyrone stays silent, the more complicit he becomes in the destruction of Summer's life. The fans are absolutely furious with him, and rightfully so. You cannot claim to be a good man while watching a young girl suffer behind bars just to save your own skin. As we look ahead to the rest of the week, the tension is going to be off the charts. Todd is now a man on a mission. We know Todd Grimshaw. When his family is threatened, his moral compass gets very, very flexible. He is not going to just sit back and let the legal system grind Summer down into nothing. He knows that Summer's medical stunt was a cry for help, a desperate plea for someone to save her because she can no longer save herself. Todd is going to start digging into Danielle's past. He is going to start putting pressure on Tyrone. I wouldn't be surprised if Todd corners Tyrone in the Rovers or the garage, demanding to know the truth. Todd is observant, and he knows when people are holding back. If Todd catches even a hint that Tyrone's silence is what sealed Summer's fate, the confrontation is going to be explosive. We also have to think about the absolute tragedy of Summer's health. Manipulating her insulin pump is not a game. It is a highly dangerous move that could have resulted in a permanent tragedy. The fact that she felt this was her only escape route highlights a massive failure in how she is being treated by the system. The authorities have completely tunnel-visioned on her, ignoring the glaring inconsistencies in the case just to get a quick closure. DS Lisa Connor Swain might be a tough investigator, but even she has to see that a young girl forcing herself into a medical coma is not the behaviour of a cold, calculating mastermind. It is the behaviour of a terrified child who has been backed into a corner. Lisa bringing Danielle in for questioning is the first sign that the police are finally widening their net, but the clock is ticking. Summer's physical and mental health are hanging by a thread, and if they don't find the real evidence soon, the damage to her might be entirely irreversible. The writers of Coronation Street are truly outdoing themselves with this storyline. They have woven a narrative so complex, incredibly dramatic, and absolutely full of twists that viewers literally cannot look away. We are watching the psychological breakdown of a character we have known and loved, mixed with a high-stakes mystery that involves multiple overlapping secrets. It is a masterclass in soap opera suspense. Every single scene between Todd and Summer right now is a masterclass in acting, delivering this heartbreaking, raw emotion that makes you forget you are watching a television show. You feel Todd's sheer panic, and you feel Summer's suffocating despair. What do you guys think is going to happen next? Will Todd uncover the truth about Danielle before Summer goes back to the facility? Will Tyrone finally grow a backbone, step up to the plate, and tell the authorities the truth about his whereabouts, even if it costs him everything he has been trying to hide? Or will Summer's breaking point force her to take the fall, leading to a massive courtroom showdown where Todd has to interrupt the proceedings with new evidence? The possibilities are endless, and the stakes have absolutely never been higher. Let me know your wildest theories down in the comments below. 1. Read every single one of them. And I love seeing how perceptive you guys are when it comes to predicting these massive plot twists. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's deep dive. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay completely up to date with all the latest rumours, spoilers, and exclusive Corrie content, please make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow Coronation Street fans, and absolutely smash that subscribe button. Until next time, keep your eyes on the cobbles, because the drama is just getting started.